Hey everybody, this is Kennedy Hawk from the MCM crew. We're bringing back Card of the Day on our YouTube channel with one card overview a day and a quick short video that ends in a hopefully entertaining twist. Today's first Card of the Day video in this reboot is going to be One Way or Another. One Way or Another is an event from Heroes Nebula pack, and wow, is it amazing. This card completely changes the way Justice plays the game, and it really takes side scheme control decks to a whole new level that we didn't even dream could be possible before. For a long time, we've been asking for a side scheme summoner, and we finally got it. So One Way or Another, zero cost event, max 1 per round, hero action. Search the encounter deck for a side scheme, reveal that side scheme, arrow, draw 3 cards. Mental resource, the resource we want for Justice even. What an amazing card. This is like the equivalent of Looking for Trouble or Defender of the Nine Realms, but for side schemes, and it is exactly what Justice wanted. You'll want some common knowledge of the encounter deck to know if this is worth playing. If there's only really horrible, terrifying side schemes left in the deck, you're not going to want to play this. And if there's no side schemes left, you play this and it whiffs and you don't get to draw the 3 cards, which really stinks too. Be wary of schemes that scale too high with player count, right? If you're playing with 4 players and something gets 2 threat per player plus hinder 1 or something like that, something that's getting 3 threat per player, you're going to have to remove 12 threat to offset these 3 cards that you've drawn. But if you're playing in 1 or 2 player and you have to remove 4 threat for the 3 cards you've drawn, a Justice player can often do that and chain into a lot of other cool effects. I think this card is really optimal at 1 to 2 players, but I've even played it at 3 or 4 and it has been a blast. So let's talk about some cool combos you can do with this. We're going to try to make these videos real short and punchy, just talk about some combos that this can work with. And I left a big one off here, but I've talked about it in the channel a lot, and we'll talk about it here again at the end. So like I said, this really opens up whole side scheme control decks. One of the big complaints about some of the side scheme defeating cards like Followed and Skilled Investigator before was, well, what if you don't draw a side scheme? You no longer have to worry about that. You're now definitely going to draw a side scheme from one way or another. Then you can defeat it. If you have Skilled Investigator, you draw a 4th card. If you threw Followed down, you also do 4 damage. It's just insano. If you weren't playing Jessica Jones before, you should definitely be playing her now, because you have the ability to pump up her thwarts to just maintain the main scheme. So a lot of those side schemes that have an acceleration counter on them, maybe you don't care, because Jessica Jones is just going to gain that and thwart and remove it for you. It can work really well with Clear the Area, because you can pull out a side scheme in solo that has really low threat, use Clear the Area to clear it to draw a card, use Skilled Investigator to draw another card. Now you've drawn 5 cards from this one card you played, which is just bonkers. Some of the other ways I've been able to use this, if you have a villain that you know, like Stage 3 or Stage 2, has a when revealed effect that brings out a side scheme, a lot of times it's hard to like push Ultron from Stage 2 to Stage 3, because you know Ultron's Imperative is going to come out, it's going to poop out 2 drones, and we won't be able to damage him until we get rid of them. They all have plus attack, and they're going to hit me in the face. So you have to wait until you can like defeat him, and defeat the drones, and defeat the side scheme in the same turn. Well, with One Way or Another, you can decide when that side scheme comes out. So you can pop that side scheme out when Ultron is an Ultron 2, when the drones don't have +1 hit point. Use AoE to wipe out the drones and defeat Ultron, and then the side scheme doesn't resummon itself because it's already on the board. Then you defeat the side scheme to get rid of it, so you like control when those when revealed triggers happen in your side scheme summoning. So that works with Ultron, that works with Claw, and several other villains in Marvel Champions. One of the characters I've been having a lot of fun with this with is Wasp. Wasp doesn't have a ton of economy in her deck. She's got those resources, but they're not great for drawing cards. But she's got this awesome ability, Small But Mighty. After Wasp or an event you play defeats a minion or side scheme, deal 1 damage to the villain. Well, if you can be bringing out side schemes and drawing crazy amounts of cards and doing damage from them and getting an extra point of damage from it, it can be really fun with Wasp. The last character that I did not put on here, that I am embarrassed to have not put on here when I was drinking my coffee this morning, is Thor. Thor loves One Way or Another. It is such a reckless way to play your game. To summon a side scheme, summon a million minions, it feels like, and then figure out what you're going to do with it. And Thor is the character that like takes advantage of that the most. So if you play Defender of the Nine Realms, and One Way or Another, you have summoned a minion, you've summoned a side scheme, you've drawn an extra 5 cards, so you're probably up to like 10-ish cards in your hand now, and then you just lay waste to whatever you can, and it is so fun to play. So I definitely recommend you check out One Way or Another. Alright, how we're going to end these videos is we are going to figure out whether I think this card is bad, B tier, or busted. So a bad card is a card I would tell you probably don't include this in your deck. A busted card is a card where if you're playing a Justice character and you can remove threat, you probably should play this card no matter what because it's only going to help you. And a B tier card is just kind of in the middle. Like maybe it works with all the decks, maybe it works with some decks, maybe it doesn't work with some decks, and there's some borderline categories in between there. So as we go through all of our card of the day videos, we're going to get more and more and more cards put onto the slide, and we'll see which cards end up where. So away we go. One way or another. Where is it going to end up? Is it B tier? Is it bad? Is it borderline busted, borderline bad? Who knows? It's just going crazy and definitely busted. This card is amazing. If you throw every other card away in the Nebula pack, it will still be worth the price of this purchase for this card alone. It completely changes the way you play Justice, and you will not regret throwing this card in your deck. That was it for today's card of the day. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back tomorrow with another card of the day.